Welcome back, Warriors faithful. Be sure to slam that subscribe button on Warriors News Fan Report and ring that notification bell to stay ahead of every insider update and playoff twist. Tonight, we're diving headfirst into a firestorm. Ignited by our head coach, Steve Kerr, who didn't hold back when he laid the blame for Stephen Curry's hamstring injury squarely on the NBA's brutal playoff schedule. You heard that right. Kerr publicly questioned whether the league's insistence on cramming 3 games into 5 days tipped the scales from a hard-fought victory to a season-ending disaster. But what does this tell us about the NBA's priorities? And how will it reshape the Warriors' approach to next year's quest for a championship? Imagine the scene. Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. Chase Center buzzing with energy after a decisive win over Houston. Our Splash Brothers Steph is orchestrating the offense like a maestro, until, in a heartbreaking twist, he grabs his hamstring and limps off the court. In an instant, the championship hopes we had pinned on his cold-blooded shooting and fearless drives evaporated before our eyes. Then came the real bombshell. Kerr, in a candid exchange with team medical director Rick Celebrini, asked point-blank whether the frenetic 3-5 grind had a hand in Steph's injury. Celebrini didn't mince words. 100%. If he had an extra day or two. We can't prove this, but I have no doubt based on our understanding of the scientific literature that the hamstring injury was the result of inadequate recovery and fatigue. Could it be that the league's relentless march through the postseason is working against the very players it depends on to generate its marquee moments? Kerr's comments have already set social media ablaze. Some fans applaud his courage in speaking truth to power, demanding a re-evaluation of the playoff calendar. Others worry that publicly calling out the NBA could strain relations with league, executives, and broadcast partners. But one thing is clear. The conversation around player health and scheduling just moved from the locker room whispers to center court, and that shift could change everything. Let's rewind to the heart of this controversy. Over the past decade, the NBA has prioritized maximizing television ratings and global reach, packing games tightly together to keep fans glued to their screens. Yet, as teams log back-to-back nights and long-distance travel, we've watched stars like Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo report fatigue mid-series and suffer soft tissue strains. Now, with Curry's first-ever hamstring issue cutting short his 16th season, the question is no longer hypothetical. Are we sacrificing player safety for scheduling convenience? From a Warriors perspective, Kerr's remarks go beyond shifting blame. They underscore a fundamental challenge for our franchise. In March and April, Golden State rode the highs of a resurgent season. Steph rediscovered his MVP-caliber range, Klay Thompson showed flashes of vintage Game 6 Klay, and Draymond Green marshaled the defense with his usual intensity. Fans dared to dream of a 4th championship in 8 years, envisioning parades down Market Street. But once the calendar flipped to the playoffs, the compressed slate revealed cracks in even our vaunted system. With Curry sidelined, the onus fell on Jimmy Butler, yes, Butler of the Miami dynasty, to carry us forward. His veteran savvy kept us alive, but the absence of our leader's gravity on both ends proved too steep a mountain to climb. Is it possible that, had we enjoyed just one extra day of rest between Games 1 and 2, Curry would have rallied on the sidelines and swung pivotal moments in our favor? Fans are already speculating whether a single-day shift could have changed the series' trajectory against Minnesota. After all, a healthy Curry in Game 3 might have prevented the Wolves' late-game heroics, and his dynamic picks and pops could have loosened the Timberwolves' defense enough to alter the series' script entirely. Some insiders believe Kerr's comments are a strategic play, building public pressure for next season's schedule adjustments. Could the NBA respond by inserting built-in rest days in the semifinals and conference finals? Will we see a move toward the NHL's model of alternate-day playoffs, or perhaps even a mid-series bye week? These are questions that extend beyond Golden State, every contender, from the Suns to the Lakers to the upstart Thunder, has a stake in this debate. But the ripple effects extend inside the locker room, too. How will our veterans digest Kerr's willingness to challenge the league? Steph, whose leadership style blends humility with fierce competitiveness, has already embraced rehab progress and set his sights on a healthy return in 2026. Draymond, never one to shy from bold stances, praised Kerr's candor while reminding fans that adversity builds character. Yet behind the scenes, one wonders if some role players, mid-season pickups like Otto Porter Jr. or key bench scorers, are reconsidering the toll that high-minute workloads exact when stars go down. From a front office standpoint, Kerr's public critique might influence roster construction. Will Golden State prioritize rotational depth in 2025-26 to cushion against the rigors of a compressed playoffs? Might we see a shift toward more burn-this-year veterans on short deals, preserving cap space for versatile reserves who can soak up minutes and protect Curry's legs? Or could we even entertain load management strategies in the regular season, reducing Steph's back-to-backs to ensure he's fresher when it matters most? And what about the broader NBA ecosystem? Players' unions and agents have long lobbied for expanded playoff breaks, but until now, team leaders rarely went on the record so sharply. Kerr's stance might embolden others. Picture Popovich or Spoelstra questioning the ethics of a schedule that prioritizes TV window over athlete welfare. Suddenly, we could see a groundswell for reform, from revised collective bargaining provisions to enhanced recovery protocols supported by tiny science labs at each arena. Yet even as we debate scheduling reforms, Warriors Nation must steel itself for a challenging off-season. Curry's contract extension looms, and the organization will need to weigh the financial implications of preserving his health against the necessity of landing another two-way wing or rim protector. Will the front office sacrifice draft capital for a veteran who can absorb stress plays? Or will we double down on hometown talent, trusting that the core of Curry, Thompson, Green, and Kerr's innovative schemes remains the blueprint for success? One thing I know for sure: this saga is far from over. The echoes of Kerr's critique will reverberate in boardrooms across the league, shaping discussions about athlete care, broadcast priorities, and what it truly means to protect the people who make the NBA a global spectacle. As fans, we can only watch and hope that our voices, amplified by Kerr's boldness, help steer the game toward a future where championships aren't won at the expense of player health. Stay tuned, because when the league finally unveils next year's calendar, every date will carry more weight than ever before. Until then, Warriors faithful, let your voices be heard. Tweet your support, flood the forums with calls for rest days, and let the NBA know that when it comes to Stephen Curry, and by extension every superstar, the clock should tick toward recovery, not re-injury. Before we dive into the next chapter of this saga, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, so you never miss our deep dives into every twist and turn of Golden State's journey. Now, as we pick up from where we left off, let's imagine the ripple effects of Kerr's bold challenge to the NBA's scheduling status quo, and how our franchise might adapt both on and off the court to safeguard our stars and chase one more ring. First, consider how the league will respond. Commissioner Adam Silver has always balanced the players' health with maximizing broadcast opportunities, but a direct call-out from a respected coach like Steve Kerr could prove pivotal. Could the NBA commission a formal review of its playoff calendar? Might we see a pilot program next spring with built-in rest days before each conference finals? Fans are already speculating that the league could adopt a model similar to the NHL, where the playoffs unfold with at least one day off between games, transforming the grind into a more sustainable, athlete-centric format. If the NBA listens, those changes would benefit not only Golden State but every contender seeking to protect their marquee talents. Within the Warriors' war room, changes are already being discussed. The front office is believed to be exploring roster tweaks that Emphasize depth and durability. One name that has surfaced in trade rumors is a veteran wing like Gary Trent Jr., whose steady three-point stroke and ability to log heavy minutes could give Curry and Thompson additional days off without sacrificing perimeter spacing. Another possibility is targeting a high IQ big man, someone like Richaun Holmes or Justin Jackson on a short-term deal, who can eat starter minutes and mitigate the risk if Draymond or our new rotational prospects pick up extra slack. Such additions would be crafted around Kerr's blueprint, players who buy into the unselfish, motion-driven system, willingly sacrificing stats to maintain lineup continuity. But let's not overlook the mental and physical recovery protocols that could emerge. In addition to adding bodies, the organization may invest in enhanced sports science initiatives, expanding their in-arena recovery suite with cryotherapy chambers, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and even mobile recovery units that can travel with the team. Imagine pre-game steam baths followed by compression boot sessions after road trips, all under the supervision of a dedicated recovery coach. These innovations, long staples at the Olympics, could become standard practice for title contending NBA teams. Could Warriors training staff pioneer a new era of performance care that sets the league's standard? Meanwhile, at the heart of Golden State's identity lies its core four: Curry, Thompson, Green, and Coach Kerr. As we navigate a new era defined by load management and player empowerment, each of these pillars will play a strategic role. Steph's contract extension negotiations could hinge on guarantees about his workload and rest days, perhaps granting him veto power over back-to-back appearances or scheduling an extra maintenance day each month. Klay, ever the consummate professional, might be offered a unique glass jar rest clause, preserving his health for playoff runs. And Draymond, whose relentless intensity fuels the defense, could see his minutes capped in certain situations to minimize wear and tear. All of these measures would flow from Kerr's candid critique, reinforcing that the pursuit of championships must coexist with player wellness. What about the timeline for change? If the NBA announces calendar adjustments this summer, Warriors fans will need to recalibrate expectations for the 2025-26 campaign. A revamped schedule could push conference semifinals deeper into June, compressing the off-season window. That means free agency signings, summer league auditions, and training camps would all shift, a logistical challenge for personnel departments across the league. Would Golden State leverage this change to explore early season exhibitions or bubble-style mini-series designed to fine-tune rotations without overtaxing players? The possibilities are endless, and our front office will need to stay nimble to adapt. Of course, none of these scenarios come without risk. Adding veterans for depth might limit cap flexibility later on, while investing heavily in recovery infrastructure carries high upfront costs. And if the NBA resists schedule reform, Kerr's public stance could backfire, leading to friction between the Warriors and league officials, potentially affecting playoff seeding tiebreakers or broadcasting priorities. Yet, as fans, we live for these high-stakes gambles. The history of our franchise is defined by daring moves and unwavering confidence. From trading for Monta Ellis to adding Kevin Durant, the Warriors organization has repeatedly shown a willingness to bet on bold visions. Now, let's zoom out and consider the broader impact on the Western Conference pecking order. If the schedule shifts in our favor and the Warriors add the right blend of depth and recovery resources, Golden State could enter the postseason with a decisive edge. Meanwhile, rivals like the Phoenix Suns, who already lament back-to-back grind holes for Chris Paul and Devin Booker, would welcome similar relief, forcing the league to choose between equitable reform or maintaining a status quo that inadvertently rewards burnout teams. The Lakers, fresh off their LeBron-led campaigns, would have to revisit their own load management protocols, perhaps reducing Anthony Davis's back-to-backs in favor of veteran rotation stability. Even the upstart Minnesota Timberwolves and Denver Nuggets, teams that have thrived on talent and youth, would face new calculus. Do they follow Golden State's lead or forge their own path? Beyond strategic considerations, Kerr's boldness reverberates in the culture of the NBA. When a coach of his stature openly challenges league orthodoxy, it resonates with players, executives, and even the next generation of coaches. High school and collegiate programs will digest his comments, teaching young athletes that health and longevity matter as much as stats and highlights. Sports medicine curricula could incorporate the playoff scheduling debate into required readings, fueling research on athlete recovery that transcends basketball. In this way, Warriors News Fan Report isn't just covering a potential franchise adjustment, it's chronicling a ripple effect that could reshape professional sports forever. As we approach the summer, one final question looms. Will Steve Kerr's rocking of the boat prompt a domino effect of innovation across other leagues? The NFL, NHL, and MLB all wrestle with condensed playoff windows and athlete health concerns. If the NBA paves the way for more thoughtful scheduling, we may see cross-sport collaborations on recovery science, unified player safety initiatives, and shared revenue models that reward teams for prioritizing health. Warriors fans, we might witness the dawn of a new sports era, one where championships and player care march hand in hand. And now, Warriors Nation, it's your turn. Do you believe Kerr's public critique will force the NBA to revise its calendar, or will the league double down on its existing model? Are you in favor of adding veteran depth at the expense of future flexibility, or do you trust that our all-star core can carry us through another compressed playoff gauntlet? I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. Personally, I'm energized by the prospect of a schedule that respects our players' longevity, and I'd happily see the front office invest in depth to protect Steph's legs for one more finals run. If you enjoyed this analysis, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and turn on that notification bell so you're always first to hear about every twist in Golden State's championship pursuit. Until next time, stay golden